So I've been spending some time on Twitter lately, as many of you may have done. And amid all the drama, I started reflecting on the fundamentals. I figured it would be really good to ask ourselves some really fundamental basic questions about why we are doing what we are doing. And so this question of what's Web3 and is it dead yet, and how do we know that it is useful, what is it good for, really started lingering in my head. And so, when I started thinking about this, I reflected and realized that I went through 2 crypto winters already, and I'm still very excited about this space. And this is through some stories I lived through that showed me what Web3 is really good for. And I think it's good to go through them so that you can keep up your enthusiasm and soldier through it, even though the marketplace right now is not looking as good as a couple of months ago. And so, first realization that I had was from a story I lived through. I had this friend, he's Venezuelan. He got stuck in the country. He very quickly realized a couple of years ago that this place is not good for him, and he won't be able to make it there. And so he wouldn't be able to really start a family and have a successful future where he came from. At the same time, he knew that in order to escape, he would need some money, and he would need to get that money and sort of like cross the border carrying this money. And that was an issue because back then the border patrols in Venezuela were corrupt, and they would strip you of all the money you have. And so what he really did was he sold everything, he bought Bitcoin, he got all of that into his wallet, and then he deleted his wallet from his phone. But the thing he carried over the border were the 16 words, the mnemonic, that helped him go through it. And he crossed the border they tried to search him, they tried to find any valuable possessions and strip it out of him. However, he was able to go through the border with the Bitcoin just remembered in his head. And this really taught me that Web3 is really good for not letting you down when big entities that you rely on every day would let you down. And so this is our insurance from things going really bad. Second story I remembered was about how Web3 can turn users into owners. One day I woke up with $1,600 in my wallet that was empty. And what turned out is that I got some Uniswap tokens. So I was playing around with this DeFi Web3 tool for exchanging tokens, and they decided to share the ownership in this application with their users. And so from a humble user, I turned into co-owner. And this taught me that Web3 is really good about turning users into owners, and how the world would look like if platforms like Airbnb and Uber would also turn their users into owners. Today it's possible with tokenomics and Web3. The third situation I remembered was all about this surprise when I woke up. I looked at my dashboard, and my firm is providing services in 150 countries. But typically, this is like mostly US and Europe. But one day, I woke up to a massive spike of usage in Philippines. And that was super interesting because we've never done any marketing in Philippines. We didn't have any partners that would be focused on Philippines. But it turned out that this game, Axie Infinity, got really, really popular really fast in Philippines back then. And so it was really striking. And then I called my partner, who I partnered with and whose users these were. And he told me that he actually was not marketing this to the Filipino user base. And it was so striking because it really shows you how Web3 equals global. You do not even know where your service could become really popular. And when you launch something, it's global by design and by default. And then Web3 also can bind people together. And I learned that when I was spending time on the chat in the app called SoRare, and I was helping our customer support with a surge of usage. and spoke with a guy who was really frustrated about the KYC process that he had to go through in order to buy a soccer player card. And I learned that he spent 2 days trying to get it, and finally only succeeded using our product, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about later on. But he was so passionate about this collectible, this Lewandowski card that he wanted to buy, and he didn't even know that he was using Web3. He was frustrated that he would need to do some KYC. For him, it was just a fun way to connect with something that he really believed in and connect with a story, become part of the story that he thought is very relevant to him. And that was really moving. And so, through these stories, I learned that Web3 could become a better internet. One where we can rely on technology when big institutions fail us. One where we can start using platforms and hope that by helping these platforms progress, finally, in the end, you could become one of the owners of these platforms. One where everything is global by design and global by default, which is very different to the internet today. And then finally, one where you can become part of a story and you can start participating in communities that span across the globe and cross borders. However, as we know, Web3 has ups and downs, and we are currently in a very deep down. But I remain optimistic because it is all an experiment. That's a point, and we are going to fail. Failed tokenomics are going to fail. Mistaken business moves are going to bite back. However, we are in this together, and we want to build something really new based on principles and technologies that were not available before. And all of this really starts with users' first step. And so my company, Ramp, is building a global on-ramping solution that really is focused on helping users who never had any touch points with Web3 to make this very first step. What we are building is an SDK that everyone can copy and paste into their application to immediately start their users, immediately let their users start buying and selling crypto right from your app, so that you do not need to send them to Binance or send them to Coinbase or send them to FTX so that they could buy crypto and come back to you to complete the user onboarding journey, and that everything becomes a packaged, streamlined user experience that is all within your app, your website, or web application. And you can see how this is really neatly packaged in a way that offloads most of your KYC and AML struggles. We take care of the licensing. We take care of the connectivity with the banking system, and we handle all of these relationships with institutions that do not really speak Web3. So we not only let you get up and running in literally minutes, but also buffer you from all the things that you really do not want to do as a builder in Web3. And so, we do that because we feel very strongly that the mission of empowering everyone in open networks is a worthy one. And going through all these stories, showing you how Web3 can build an internet that is more user-driven, more global, that won't let you down, is something that we feel deeply passionate about. And what we really want to achieve and how we want to see this entire world evolving in the next 10 years is to see a future where everyone can exchange value as easily and efficiently as using the internet. And so, to put it very simply, until Web3 becomes one click for end user and copy and paste building block for developer and product designer. And today we are very excited to announce that we just raised a $70 million round. It's $120 million in total raised in last year to help advance this mission. This is coming from Mubadala and Corelia Capital and others. We are very happy that some of our former investors, including Boulderton, Galaxy Digital, NFX, Seedcam, and First Minute also joined this round. We really think that real use cases are going to be the next big thing in crypto. And so if you're meddling with finances, if you're doing funny business, trying to outplay this gambling game that is crypto speculation, I think that you're going to really have tough time in the coming years. But if you are building something that can attract users and deliver real value, like our partners such as GameStop or Exodus or Abra or Brave, then you will do well partnering with Ramp to make sure that your users can start using your app with no issues in a streamlined manner, and you can get up and running in just a couple of minutes. We're also very happy to announce that the number of users that we have increased sixfold over the last 12 months. We have a big user base that is already KYC'd. They have their cards connected to our system. Their banks are connected to our system. They are under our AML program. And all of these users could start using your applications in just one click if you integrate Ramp platform. And so you would tap into millions of users who are already Web3 ready, understand what you're building, and are ready to spend in just a click of a button. I'm also very proud to say that we work very closely with regulators. We are the first on-ramp that is regulated by major regulators on both sides of Atlantic. We are FinCEN and FCA registered, and so we can handle these relationships so that you can focus on building. So we own the on-ramping, the exchange, and your users can buy whatever crypto is required to use your product through our infrastructure. This grants us access to users in more than 150 countries. So we understand and really know that you are building your products to make them global. And we give you this global access also through payment rails. But being global is not enough. You want to be global and at the same time be able to cater to users in all these jurisdictions, in all these geographies, in a way that they are used to. And this is why the experience is highly customizable, and at the same time we grant access to all these countries in a way that users feel familiar with and are used to. So we are using local payment rails so that they can pay as they want for crypto you want them to buy. At the same time, we feel very passionate about scalability and how do we make sure that people can start using applications that are really scalable. And this is why we partnered with pretty much all scalability solution providers, layer 2 providers, next generation blockchain builders, and many more, so that if you are building something on a highly scalable infrastructure, we can plug your users in very quickly. And right now, we are very happy to announce that we are launching an initiative to get licensed in even more countries and unlock some of the countries that are very hard to penetrate and very hard to get access to because of regulatory requirements. So this $120 million that we raised is going to be spent so that we can get even bigger coverage and make sure that your services can be used in an easy way, easy fashion, all across the globe. We are going to focus mostly on countries in Southeast Asia. So Korea and Japan are right now very, very top of our agenda. And also to improve the experience for users in LATAM. And there's only going to be more local payment methods plugged in so that your users who may complain that buying with Visa and MasterCard is expensive, sometimes slow, and sometimes causes them headaches because their banks do not want to process their transactions, could be processed with local bank-to-bank payment rails that are instant, much cheaper, and have much higher acceptance rates. We're going to continue our support for layer 2 solutions, and we are going to help everyone who's building on highly scalable infrastructure plug in through Ramp to their user base. And now we are also very proud to announce that we are launching our off-ramp, which is the best off-ramp on the market. It is utilizing instant payout ways. So we're launching in the US, which is our biggest market. And we are going to use real-time payments so that money would show in your bank account only seconds after you clear the crypto transaction or send crypto to us. And finally, I'm very proud to announce we got accepted by Visa and MasterCard to their new program, which would allow us to push money to cards globally, to every Visa and MasterCard pretty much all across the globe, so that our off-ramping infrastructure would not rely on local connectivity with local payment rails, but would become global from day one, just like your businesses. Thanks.